Rightward Partition: How Political Blunders and British Conspiracies Sealed Fate of Sindh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced from the Red Fort on August 15, 2021, that August 14 would be observed annually as Partition Horrors Remembrance Day. This day intends to honor the memory and sacrifices of the partition and keep the nation vigilant. As we approach August 14 this year, it would be pertinent to take a look at a forgotten chapter of our history that is related to Sindh. The political blunders committed by Congress were as much responsible for giving away Sindh to Pakistan as were the conspiracies hatched by the British. The first blunder that the Indian National Congress Inc. committed was to aid the dismissal of the Allah Bux Sumro ministry in Sindh in 1940. Sumro was a known anti-Muslim League politician. He was a fierce opponent of the two-nation theory and was assassinated in 1943 when he had emerged as a major challenger to the Muslim League and its top leader, Muhammad Ali Jinnah. His name doesn't find any mention in the textbooks in Pakistan. Ironically, the Congress joined hands with the Muslim League to topple the Allah Bux ministry in 1940. The only Congress Muslim MLA who objected to this joint operation with the Muslim League was expelled from the party. 2 days after the ouster of the Bux ministry by the Congressman of Sindh, Muslim League leaders met in Lahore and adopted the infamous Partition Resolution on March 25, 1940. Noted author K.R. Makani gives a detailed account of this episode in the Sindh story first published in 1984. He wrote, "Responsible Hindus were shocked by the short-sightedness of Sindh congressmen. Professor N.R. Makani wrote to Sardar Patel to do something about it. And the Sardar wrote back, I have received your distressing letter of the March 1, 1940. Our friends of the Congress Assembly Party in Sindh have acted in a manner which has brought discredit to the organization and to themselves. They talk of wider interest of the country in relation to their action, while they forget that they are not serving the local, much less the wider interest. The Bux ministry was replaced by a Muslim League government, which lasted only for a year. But during that 1 year, Muslim League branches went up in Sindh from 30 to 400. Makani says, the Congress could have at least partly saved Sindh, but it acted like Chamberlain who had abandoned Czechoslovakia to Hitler in 1938 with the statement that it was a faraway country about which we know little. The Dharparkar district in Sindh had a Hindu majority, and the Congress should have claimed it. Indeed, it had traditionally been more a part of Marwar than of Sindh. On the eve of partition, the Sindh government promptly merged Sanghar district with Dharparkar district to cancel out its Hindu majority. But even then, the case of Dharparkar district was on par with that of Sylhet in Assam, where the Muslim League had demanded Andhra part of the district through a plebiscite. He adds. In 1928, when there was a discussion around the issue of the separation of Sindh from Bombay, the state of Jodhpur had laid claim to the Umerkot area of Dharparkar district. The argument given by the Jodhpur rulers was that Umerkot had traditionally been part of their Marwar area. The British had taken the area from Jodhpur temporarily for defence purposes. However, the Sindh unit of the Indian National Congress opposed this demand of the state of Jodhpur. Had it not opposed this demand, the Dharparkar district in Sindh would have been part of present-day India, and the Hindus there would have survived. Another area India could have got was the native Khairpur state, says Makani. For years, the Mir of Khairpur had been kept confined to a house in Pune. In the 1940s, the Diwan of Khairpur was Ijaz Ali, who ousted the second most important officer of the state, Mangharam Wadhwani. The latter was Khairpur's treasury officer. When the transfer of power was approaching, Mangharam met the Mir of Khairpur in Pune and promised to have him restored to his throne on one condition, that he should remove Ijaz Ali and accede to India. The Mir agreed. Mangharam then met India's last British Viceroy, Lord Mountbatten, and Sardar Patel, who played the key role in the accession of princely states to an independent India. The Mir was duly restored to his state. Ijaz Ali was ousted. Keeping his promise, the Mir was now prepared to accede to India. But Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru declined the offer. According to Makani, had New Delhi played its cards in Khairpur and Dharparkar, the frontier of India would have touched the mighty industry. Indeed, India could have asked for a plebiscite in the whole of Sindh, for the majority of Sindhis had voted against the League in the 1946 general elections. In these elections, the Muslim League got only 46.3% vote in a province with a 71% Muslim population. For every 4 votes polled by the League, 3 were polled by the nationalist Muslims led by G.M. Syed and Mullah Bucks. In a house of 60, 10 Malays were returned unopposed. Only one of them was a Muslim. Had polling taken place in these 10 constituencies also, the League's percentage of the popular vote would have come down to less than 40. There was a clear anti-Muslim League majority of the popular vote in Sindh. In failing to avail of all these favorable factors, the Congress did little justice to Sindh and even less to India. The Congress threw not only NWFP to the wolves as complained by Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan threw Sindh also to the wolves. The 1946 Assembly elections in Sindh returned 28 Malays from the Muslim League, 22 from the INC, and 7 Muslims who were opposed to the Muslim League. Governor Sir Francis Mudie nominated 3 Europeans. The 22 Congress Malays and the 7 anti-League Muslim Malays had formed an alliance. They were one more than the League. But Governor Mudie installed a Muslim League ministry and asked the 3 nominated Europeans to support it. The governor refused to call the assembly session. In fact, when Mir Bunday Ali Khan Talpur quit the Muslim League, the governor sent his secretary to him, asking him to rejoin the League on the promise of a ministership. When the assembly had to be called to elect Sindh's representatives to the Constituent Assembly, the governor adjourned the House on the very day that it was scheduled to take up the no-confidence motion. His excuse was that the Assembly, called to elect members to the Constituent Assembly, could not conduct any other business. Interestingly enough, at the same time, the British governor of the Punjab allowed the Punjab Assembly to take up the motion of no confidence against the non-Muslim League Isra government, though it too had been called for electing representatives to the Constituent Assembly. Later, when the Sindh Assembly session became constitutionally due, the governor did not summon it because the League's strength had come down to 25 instead. He dissolved the assembly, called for fresh elections, and kept the Muslim League regime as a caretaker government. In the ensuing elections, massive rigging by the Muslim zamindars and officers, at the instance of the British higher-ups, ensured 35 seats for the Muslim League and only a few seats for nationalist Muslims. Before the election petitions could be taken up, the rigged assembly had voted for Pakistan. Swipe left for next video. Makani sums it up aptly. Governor Mudie was duly rewarded for his services by being elevated from the governorship of Sindh to that of the Punjab. Per A.M. Rashdi has aptly described Mudie as Kadaku master crook. The fate of Sindh was sealed by Qaid-Azam Mudie even more than by the other Quaid. Janadat the writer is an author and a columnist. His X-handle is Arunanandliv. Views expressed in the above piece are personal and solely those of the author. They do not necessarily reflect News 18's views. Latest blogs.